Yo, everybody. I rugged the link on accident by starting the space for like 3 seconds earlier and then pausing it. So I had to make a new one. So I'm waiting for the artist to get in here. So we're going to give it like 5 minutes. Uh, Hopefully the music starts or G-Spot came in so he could help play some music. But yeah, we're going to give it 5 minutes for the artist to get in here and for everybody to find the new link. And then we'll get started. All right. And if you want to retweet or share the room, the direct link to the space is the one I got pinned up top.
What up?
What's up?
Yo, what up?
Not much. I did a 3-second recording earlier.
I'm gonna make room for the artist.
So we'll get started in 3 minutes. If anybody wants to share the room, it's the link pinned up top. Not the one of RFTZ, the one before that, LOL. We're starting in 2 minutes. Everybody retweet the room up top, please, or share it. All right, might as well stop now instead of start another song. All right, so two things. One, I rugged the room earlier, so a couple people are going to trickle in as they find it. But second, I think there's another space with the boring security DAO going on at the same time. So we might have less of a turnout, but that's all right. I want to carry on with the art space anyway. So our artists tonight, Sandman and Professor Jasper, are going to come later. But we have Airlicky, RFDZI. He's going at the same time is Rito NFT and Captain Tweed. Think they're cooking a project together. Airlicky, Sandman, and Professor Jasper are our other featured artists. This is our 8th Apechain Art Hours space. The spaces are Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This is less of like a hard chill space and more of a tell us your story and artistic background and like learning about the process behind the NFTs that you're buying on Apechain. So we start out the space by interviewing our featured artists. And the goal is to like get to know these artists on a one-to-one conversational basis when choosing what art to buy. Speakers are welcome to request to speak at any time, and as long as it's like a question for the hard shill or something, we're gonna like open the space up towards the end for anybody that might have their own NFT art or questions or anything like that. In the audience, it gets a little more open and structured, and then we pass the DGen torch off to Apechain DGen Hours at like 11 p.m. Eastern with Chris Slack and G Spot. So that's like an overview of our space. One more thing I'm going to pin up top is a link to sign up if you are interested in showcasing your art or NFT. So one second while I find this sign up link. It's an anonymous Google form attached to the link I just put up top. All right, so first, I wanted to open up with Airlicky. Airlicky, how are you doing?
Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Airlicky, aka Artlicky, aka Mr. Hands on Your Knees. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, good. I'm doing good. Tell us, I guess, first question: why do you make art?
It's a passion for me. I found art through Apes again. The Bored Ape Yacht Club. They've kind of been the pathway for me to find art. Just because I love the art in the apes itself. And usually, it's because the apes gave me time to go enjoy museums again with my kid. And that's how I've pretty much found my artistic ways.
That's awesome. What kind of museums do you go to? Is there any other way that like the Bored Apes, I guess, have influenced your getting back into art?
The big thing for me was the Museum of Fine Arts. Where I'm at right now is in Houston, Texas. There's a Museum of Fine Arts here, and I had frequented it with Kid Ape on free days, and we kind of just fell in love with the paintings, especially like the Picassos that they have there. And I mean, that's really what transformed me to really fall in love with art again. Um, and the apes, what can I say about them, right? They're, they've shown me so much love and support, from even the beginning of my journey before I even considered myself an artist, right? They was all like, dude, you're a fucking artist. Um, and I'm just like, man, I'm just creating stuff that I see in my head, right? It all starts with a vision and a dream. And I just felt like I couldn't let that dream and that vision go to waste. So I started putting it down on my iPad. And then when we'd go to the museums, I would, me and Kid Ape, we would bring our little pencils and pads, and we would sit there and we would draw. And what really, really brought me over the edge was this one time where she was like, let's just draw what we see. And she would be super descriptive, like, Dad, you see that shape right there? Oh, how about the way that the patterns is right here with the lines, how it comes across, and then he makes the eye, right? And that kind of made me fall in love with art again.
I love that. I guess let's rewind even further. Then art was a passion for you. What made you decide to like start making art for the first time? Like, where did your what medium and like what were the circumstances that made you get into art?
All right, so art, like way back when I was back in school, like in elementary school, I used to like draw Dragon Ball Z art so that people could put the pictures on their binders, right? And then so life went on really fast, right? I became an adult. I totally forgot about all that stuff. And really though, it was just seeing art again, like like being an ape gave me the time to not 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 work too hard because I had a nice safety net to fall back on. So I was able to let go of my salary job, and I was able to just enjoy life and art. And like the mediums I use, I mean, I use canvas and acrylic paint, but my main go-to is really my iPad, an Apple Pencil and an iPad, because it's so easy for me to redo something versus when you're on canvas and paint, right? You have to strategically think about what you're going to do, and if you mess up, it's like a good amount of time to fix those mess ups. But with the iPad, it's way easier for me to sit there and just hit the undo button, or grab the eraser and just erase real fast, or even re-outline things on top of another layer. Um, and that's my go-to. I feel like that's my bread and butter. I'm able to drop my ideas down, and then edit those ideas into a final product that I can actually enjoy to look at.
What apps and programs do you prefer to use on the iPad?
Well, I'm kind of a cheapie, right? I don't want to spend like money on like too many apps and stuff. I know people use Procreate, but you have to pay for that. I actually found a Adobe Fresco, and that's what I use. It's a free app, have as many enhanced tools, but they're slowly coming towards it. But I mean, it's a free app that you can use, and then you can export those files in PNGs, JPEGs, just kind of it's an easy access tool, especially for any beginner out there, man, that you don't want to go and spend too much money on your craft and stuff that you just want to test out. I mean, Adobe is a really dope service and application.
What's the program called
Second
again?
that.
Adobe Fresco.
Adobe Fresco, yep.
Cool. I'll write that down.
Yeah, it's solid, man. It's really easy to use for new people.
Super easy, super duper easy. And yeah, it's not as like high tech or like up to date as something like Procreate would be. But if you're just trying to start out and you're trying to put your ideas down, I mean, it's a perfect medium to use. I mean, it's like canvas and acrylic is super dope, right? Like, there's nothing like slapping down paint to me. It's like very peaceful. You get in the zone, but with technology nowadays, and especially on the blockchain, you kind of want to touch down on being digital. So that's where I kind of draw the lines at. I like to mix both mediums of being like physical and digital, but I mainly like to rely on digital because it's an easier platform.
Have you ever released any of your physical paintings on the blockchain?
No, I have not, but I have sent physicals to like canvases to couple people at the early stages when I just kind of wanted to get my art out there. Like Bailey Tattoo, he has a shitty version of his ape because we have this inside joke where we have where he made some shitty apes, and so I decided to paint that. And then I have my good friend Snow. He was really upset that he couldn't get art lickies on chain, so I wanted to make sure that he was part of the gang. And so I painted his dog, sent that to him.
Yeah, in our messages a while back, I had been asking about like what kind of art you work on, and I think you had told me that you've done a lot of commissions for people like within the Bored Apes. I pinned up top something you did for Lady Ape.
Yes.
Or
If you check out my website, artlicky.com, you can see a lot of the digital works that I've done. And I've even updated, I think you can see Bailey's ape on there as well. But those are a lot of the works that I've done. It's some commissions, some not commissions, some that I've just done and released. And if you check the the for sale part of it, that first one, Bancasso, is kind of the universal one that I've been pretty much known for. It's been showcased all the way across the world in Lisbon. It's been to Estonia. And it's kind of the piece that kind of like put me over the edge.
Um, what advice would you give to someone that is a brand new artist, starting out, interested in NFTs, but hasn't doesn't consider themselves an artist, like is just getting started, basically?
Man, my advice for real is to just do it. You know, it there's there's so much fighting in your head about whether I should do it or not, whether somebody's gonna like it or whether people would like it. I think that you have to understand that art is an expression, right? And to me, if I can get somebody to form an opinion, right, whether good or bad on something I've released, I feel like as an artist, I've done my job, right? It's because like you've expressed yourself and you put yourself out there, and people see that, right? And some people, not everybody's gonna like it, right? If you really think about in real life right now, there's gonna be people who love you and people who hate you. Even at work, there's gonna be people who enjoy working with you, and there's gonna be people like, man, this I hate seeing this dude every day, right? But the key is, right, is to not let your vision and your dreams die, because all that shit stops when you do, right? You have to put yourself out there. There's literally nothing else to it but to do it.
What 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 different chains have you minted your NFTs on before Apechain? Was it Ethereum
Um,
primarily?
yeah, I was primarily on Ethereum, so I started out on OpenSea. There's this ape named Shaman, and like one of my first ones I've minted, he saw it, and it's like another another Picasso version of my ape where it's just colors and shapes. But I actually posted it on Twitter, and he was like, "Yo, this is pretty fire. Let me buy it." And that kind of shifted like my whole artist career into actually believing in myself to actually do stuff. But it still took a long time before I was actually comfortable with calling myself an artist. But I minted it on OpenSea, and then he liked it. He purchased it, and then there was other apes. I could see you in the crowd too, Freaky. Hey, what up, Freaky? Um, they showed me a lot of love. You know what I mean? Like they gave me a lot of support and encouragement on like, hey, yo, this is really really dope. You know what I mean? You have a very very unique style that I was just lucky enough to be stumbled upon. You know what I mean? Um, and then so I minted on OpenSea. That was cool. And then everybody was all like, "Oh, OpenSea is whack, and they're broken sea, and there's other platforms." And then that actually got me thinking. So, and then I started looking on Manifold.xyz. Um, and I was able, and kind of like smart enough to kind of figure out, okay, so look, we can actually do this on chain by ourselves, right? Follow the tutorials, and then looked over it a couple times, and then it was just a matter of just doing it, man. And after I figured out how to do it, I minted a couple more. I started doing commissions of people's apes or people's art, and then what I did was I basically airdropped them their art through Manifold.
So your physical commissions, you would give them uh, like NFTs associated with it on Manifold?
No, so here's the crazy thing about the blockchain and Web3, right? Right? I got lucky enough to skip doing physicals for people, right? Like the whole physical commission. What I did was I just minted their art that they commissioned on chain. But on a side note of what I did do for a lot of the people though, is because I want at certain points you think Ethereum is pretty expensive, right? 0.25 E, that's like $600, $700, and I wanted to give people more value. So what I did was I looked out for a local printing company. So I linked up with them, and I decided that everybody that got a commission from me, that I would personally send them a printed version of what they commissioned, so that it'd be both digital and physical, right? So that they can have that both in real life and on chain, and I would still be in my zone of mixing digital and physical.
Um, your new work, or the one that I saw on Apechain Art Licky, I I was gonna ask you to tell us about it, but first I'm just wondering. That one's like an ERC 1155, I think, which is the type where the images are all the same, and you're minting multiple editions of the same artwork. Can you have all of your previous works been like ERC 1155s, and can you tell us like how it's different, like as an artist going that route, if that is the case?
So that one I figured out how to do on MintPad. I mean, because MintPad had just launched, Apechain has just launched, and I was trying to figure out how artists can really use this new chain, right? And I tried to do a generative project, but you had to learn how to do JSON files and all that, and I just wasn't technically equipped or educated enough to run those, and they were still new, so they weren't really like helping too many people out at that point. And I also wanted to be like one of the first artists to be on Apechain, which I ended up being with non-generative art. But the only way for me to upload my artwork was to drop an ERC 1155. And having an open edition like that, it was very, very nerve wracking, right? Like I didn't know who would want to buy the same thing over and over again. You know, I was like, man, questioning, like, man, is this really right? For the blockchain, for this type of blockchain, this type of mainnet. But I kind of just did it, man. It's called Pikachu, like peek at you. It's one of those nostalgic things when you look at and you're like, all right, Pikachu, like, I know who that is, right? But I had to do my own little twist on it. It's kind of like a peek into my world in my head, right? Because everything's kind of scrambled and like there's different lines, there's different shapes, there's different colors into it. But when you look at it cohesively at one, just looking at it, you know exactly what it is.
And you did physical prints for Pikachu already too?
Yeah. So what I did was, as soon as I minted out, right, I picked five random wallets, and basically I sleuthed those wallet addresses. I found the owners of them, and I sent them. I sent five people a physical signed copy of Pikachu as well.
That is awesome.
Well, the funny thing about Pikachu, right, is that it started off. I didn't even know I was going to mint it. Um, it started off as a local trading card company. One of my friends owned it. He reached out to me, and he was all like, "Hey, it'd be dope if you can get some of your art up here." And I was like, "All right, for a trading card company, what would make sense there, right? What do they trade a lot of? Pokemon cards." So that's kind of how that kind of came about, right? So I printed a 20 by 20, and then I put it up at their store. They frame it, and it's up there.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I didn't mint
Appreciate it.
any of them, but I grabbed some of them on the secondary.
Hey, I appreciate you. I got something else cooking up though too, man. I've been pretty much head down working on a new series. I guess I'll kind of drop a little bit of that here. I guess that's a little bit of,
You've got
you know,
to.
if you know, you know. I really didn't want to do that type of series because Pokemon, it's a lot, man. It's 151 one of them OG. But I touched down on a little bit of it. There should be more coming out soon. More info on it coming out really really soon. I finished the designs on it. I'm working on editing it. I'm probably gonna drop it on Blever, since those are Ape from the Ape created. So I'm probably gonna reach out to them, work on that, and do something kind of along the same lines of last time, but just a little different.
So it is Pokemon related.
Yes.
Uh, I'm gonna have to max mint,
Yes. I mean,
especially if you're
more
making
info on that
variations.
soon. More info on that real soon. Hopefully the end of this week. So, but for Art Licky owners, you're definitely gonna get a whitelist. So there's a couple that are under mint on Magic Eden under Art Licky, the only one with the floor. So if you cop that before the snapshot, you're definitely gonna get whitelisted for that. But there's definitely more work coming for me. I'm not a one and done type of person. This is really my passion, like creating and showing a pathway for others, right? Because I know I was given a platform. I know a lot of people are watching me, um, and I want to show people what can really happen and what you can do if you really put your mind to it, right? And man, it's a scary world out here, right? Just to put yourself out here, even just to be an artist and just be crucified by opinions, right? You're even your worst enemy a lot of the times. And for me to actually go out and show out, put something that I can, that I value out there, I mean, it's kind of paving the way for not only me, a lot of people that's watching me, but also my kid that's watching me, though, right? Because my kid watches me sit here putting in all this work, all these hours, and I always show her my ideas, and she's always like, "Yeah, that one's really, oh, dad, that slays." Young kids, right? Oh, that slays, and I'm like, oh, okay. If she thinks that, then I guess this might work. But then I go back in, I do a bunch of edits, like making sure it's right for me. I feel like you can't rush as an artist, because it shows when you sit out there and rush, right? And just, oh, I want to put something out there ASAP, blah blah blah. But it's if you really put some tender care and love into it, right? You do your edits, you put the time into it, you make sure everything looks right, feels right, and people appreciate that, man, especially this in this space that we're in. It's because we're a lot of us are here for art. There's a lot of Jenning, there's a lot of shoe flippers, but the key on this new chain, I think, is to get artists to get on, to get new collectors, right? That should be the goal. We should have new people coming in to collect the art that we put out, because not only do they love it, but they want to support these artists that are putting themselves out there.
I think Apechain's kind of establishing itself as an art chain, like the projects. There's artists coming over here from other chains, like yourself.
No, hell yeah, absolutely, and that's what I wanted to from the beginning, though. Like, I wanted to drop art so that other artists see it, and they're like, "Oh shit, we could do this on the new Ape Chain," and slowly that ripple effect happened. We started seeing a bunch of artists come out. I see you, Bailey. I see you with your little mosaic gator hat. And that snowballed, right? That snowballed into a bunch of generative art. It's snowballed into shapes. It snowballed into Sandman. I see you, Sandman, which has incredible art history and art pieces. Like that, to me, it it's it's what's this chain all about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I agree, and I think it's been leaning towards really creative projects, like more creative than I've seen like in a long time, like uh, than especially like in the fine art department. Um, I want to ask what are your inspirations for your style?
Man, a real big inspiration for me is Picasso, right? I mean, I kind of just fell in love with the shapes and the colors of Picasso, and for like inspiration, it's my peers, man. It's all the artists that I get to rub elbows with all the time, that I get to chit chat with every day. Like, if you know me, I'm usually super active online. I'm like chatting with a bunch of people in a bunch of different groups, and I feel so blessed to be in this space where I'm able to connect with all these great artists. Like, even just in this room, right? I'm able to just connect even in a DM. Me and Bailey, we have a crap ton of DMs. Me and Rita, we got some DMs together. And it's just the and Lamau. I don't know if y'all know who Lamau is. She's a crazy glass worker, bro. She works with gold on glass and enamel. Like for me to be able to touch bases and just rub elbows with some of these great artists, I mean that's everything to me, man. They inspire me more than they would ever know, right? Because without being able to talk and just be real with them, I mean, I probably wouldn't even know where to be as an artist. I probably still wouldn't even see myself as an artist, right? But because I'm shown so much love from this specific group of people, the artists, it makes me feel more welcomed and like, hey, I'm ready to go too, you know?
I love that and your whole mindset on creating art on Apechain. I think your work is fantastic, and I'm excited to see what you create. Uh,
Man, I appreciate it, man. It's all just crazy ass ideas in my head, right? And I feel like, man, like I sleep with a notepad next to my bed, right? I'm pretty much surrounded by a notepad all the time, just so that I can get these ideas out. Because if we don't run on these ideas, they disappear, right? They're gone, bro. And sometimes when you forget about them, you're not gonna remember them again, right? So like even in my iPad, I mean, there's stuff that I don't release, but it's just like practice work that I'm doing, right? Running lines, making things super explosive. It's just something that I turn a habit into doing so that I can perfect my craft, right? I think was it Illa that says it takes 10,000 hours to become a master or something like that, something along those lines. And to me, I feel like that's pretty much right on the money, right? Like you have to own your craft. Like you have to work on it day in, day out. You have to sleep on it. You have to wake up and want to do it. And even when you don't want to do it, you still got to do it, right? I mean, because there's days where I'm mentally, socially worn out though too. Um, but I still at least put in 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes the 30 minutes runs into an hour, 2 hours of just putting in the work. And even though I'm not making money on it or whatever it is that I'm trying to mint or create, I mean, the process of creating is going to build that habit of keep on doing it.
yeah, that's I'm definitely in the boat where if I don't pursue an idea like right away, it's go to my computer or wherever and start on that project, whether it's like
No, yeah,
art.
and then you lose that, right? And then when you
Yeah,
lose it, it's hard, bro. It's because that next idea sometimes doesn't pop up right away, right? As artists and as a creative, I can tell you right now that, man, like sometimes if I forget about an idea, I mean it's gone. Like it's hard to circle back on it, right? Because we're only human too. Beyond these PFPs, we're human, right? We have so many things going on in our real lives. We have this we're trying to focus on though too in Web3, and sometimes those ideas they pass up. But that's why I try to keep things written down in notepads. Like if I can't draw it out, I'll have my phone loaded up with notes with notes on like ideas that I want to do, and then when I have the time to think about it, I'll be like, oh, let me go back to these notes and see what I was thinking about. And that's kind of one of those things. It's not told to anybody, but it's one of those things that help you as an artist to to have an arsenal of, right, these ideas. Because yeah, it might not work today, it might not work tomorrow, it might not be like this year, but who knows? Somewhere down the line, you're gonna put it out, and you put it down on paper, and then put it out, and man, it's just gonna blow. It might blow minds, right? It also might not, right? It also might just flop. But the point is to get to it.
either way, you're creating something. You know.
Right, right, right.
Um, does anyone else have any questions for Air Licky, Art Licky?
Hey, what's up, Grimy Frankie? What's going
Hey,
on?
Showbiz,
Showbiz.
how's it going?
Yeah, doing great, doing great. Good night, everyone. I see a bunch of legends on stage. I didn't want to. I popped in the room just to listen for a little bit because we've got our Orange G's space in at 9. But I saw you sent me the invite, and I didn't want to be, disrespectful. I came up here just to say what's up,
Oh, no
but
worries.
definitely, you know, you have some legends in the room: Arleki, RFDZ, Sandman, Redo, Captain Tweed. I mean, the audience, Bailey, Chris. It's filled with a lot of legends in the space. People who were building on Apechain, a lot of dope artists. But Arleke's the homie, man. The orange background homie, and
Yo.
what's up? So I didn't want to be rude and not say what's up to y'all when you brought me up on stage, bro. But I, I want to say, man, I've collected his art piece as well, and I'm excited for what you're launching. Definitely loving the colorful vibes, man. You're always coming up with something, creative and teasing the group chats with it, man. So, I'm looking forward to what you're dropping. I mean, I own pretty much a piece of everyone in this room's assets that they have, on Ape Chain or base, so definitely looking forward to whatever you're dropping next. But yeah, man, I can't stick around too long because we got our Orange G's space. But I wanted to come up and say, man, just say what's up.
What's up, Showbiz? I haven't talked to you in a
I
minute.
know, bro. How you been, Rito?
I've been good, man. Been working hard, so
Yeah, man. Excited for the Ape Chain drop?
yeah, yeah. I've been getting everything finished up with that, getting marketing done. So
Awesome.
I think the community's pretty hype on it.
Oh yeah. So little backstory, right? When I've been using the platform that Rito has since I became an ape holder last year, August. Um, and he's the tailor of the acloset.com. And when I found out earlier this year that he was dropping his own collection on base, and you could update the metadata with all different, your hat, your glasses, your clothing. I was super bullish on him. It was a free mint for apes. A lot of people didn't show a lot of support, but the apes, we were able to rally. I was in spaces with him and everything. Minted, and I mean the people who minted were winning, but he ended up cutting the supply, so the remaining supply is about to be dropped on Ape Chain. So excited for that, man. Looking forward to you know and you bringing value, man. Like he brought some real fun to the space with being able to customize your NFTs, right? So looking forward to that, bro. Definitely he's a builder in this space. Somebody I definitely respect in this space because he's always looking for ways to, you know, add that tech and the fashion to, the NFTs and the good vibes. So welcome to Ape Chain, bro. Looking
Hey, I
forward to the
appreciate that,
drop.
Showbiz. That was really nice of you to say all that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And that's kind of where my background comes from is fashion. I was a Supreme and like Palace reseller before I got into crypto, and I've been a photographer my whole life, so I was always into like photographing fashion. But I was making my money like reselling stuff when I got into this. But yeah, I'm happy to be here, Grimy. How's your night going?
Good, good. Here, let's do you next. But I just wanted to ask Erlicky on his way out. Do you have where can people stay up to date with your new collection? Should they just follow your personal X account?
Yeah. Hey, but first of all, hey, what's up, Showbiz, man? Hey, good to see you, bro.
You,
Orange
bro.
Gang, all day, every day. And holy crap, I didn't even know that about Redo, man. I didn't know that was NFT Taylor, man. That's crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
he's the ape
Bro,
closet. He's the ape
bro, that's
closet.
like click saves of my ape with a bunch of tailored clothes on, bruh.
He's an OG ape,
Bruh,
bro. He's an OG ape.
bruh.
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so I love spaces like this, bro, where you connect like that, man. Fuck, that's dope.
Yeah.
Um, I would say for just my drop, just look out for my X account, my Twitter account, man. To be honest with you, I really don't like out over and over and over. I'm more of a freestander where I just if you know you know right. If you fuck with me, you fuck with me. Then you'll know how to find out. I'm pretty active in a lot of these chats, anyways. But like I said, just follow my Twitter. I'll make the announcement before the snapshot, or like of the yeah before the snapshot. I'll make the announcement before I drop anything. I still have to finish cooking. I'm on my edit stage right now, and who knows how long that takes me sometimes because it just got to feel right. But yeah, it's all gonna be on my Twitter. No worries.
Good
Looking out
stuff.
for that, bro.
Appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me on tonight, man. I'm looking forward to hear from Redo.
Yeah, thanks
Hey,
for coming up.
good to hear from you, bro. We haven't talked in I don't know 2 or 3 years, so it's good seeing you still keeping with it, man.
Oh yeah, yes sir, yes sir. I ain't never left. Bro, I built through the bear, and I'm gonna build through the bull
That's
too.
the best part about Bored Apes, and I feel like you went back on your story, and your story is basically like my story, and I know a bunch of other artists that basically have the same exact story. Like Bored Apes kind of gave us the financial freedom to sit back and like really indulge on art. A lot of people
Hell
that
yes.
like a lot of people like wanted like had artistic ability and wanted to dive into that but couldn't like leave their 9 to 5 or really put in the time and stuff like that, and Basie like really gave that to a lot of artists. So I'm in the same position as you, like like we all came up together and brought each other up, supporting each other's art, and I think that with the addition to Apechain now, like it's gonna only increase this next coming cycle because like like Basie and Macy is literally a group of the best artists in crypto, and so it's really cool to see us all kind of like flourishing on a new chain.
Yeah, no, man, you're right on the money, right? I mean, because like what I've always said about just the board apes in general is that even though we're all so different, bro, we're all able to connect on that same like mindedness. You know what I mean? Like we all have our own independent struggles, but like a lot of the stories that you're here, they're so common amongst each other, right? Like what you said about artists and being able to have a space and like to thrive because of these cartoon monkey pictures, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I
Right?
mean,
It's crazy.
I was a full-time photographer for like 7 years up until the point I got into crypto, and I only got into crypto because I collected Corey Van Loo's physical art. I'm one of his biggest physical collectors, and he was starting to sell NFTs. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start buying his NFTs because they'll probably go up, and sure as hell they did. But he got me into it, and I got enough money to buy a board ape, and I bought it like the day after Mint. I bought my first board ape, and when they said that you could like use them, to make art with and profit off of that art, I was like, shit, I could pay this off in like a little bit, like maybe a month, right? And I did, and then I just kept making more derivative art for people because that's what we all loved, was like expanding how far we could take our like IP that we owned. So
Right.
yeah, man, it's all it's Basie is awesome, bro.
Crazy, right, man? All from a cartoon monkey picture, man. And look
Yeah,
how far it's come. Like it's man, people are oh you round tripped it, oh you dropped, oh you fumbled 500K. But man, I'm telling you, dude, that 500K gonna be a couple million by the time we done running. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like we not dead, bro. I remember every hater was like, oh, dude, the apes, they're done. They're not doing anything no more. But every time we drop something, those motherfuckers shut up. Every time, bro. It got quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter. And all I would start hearing is
yep.
right.
That
The
was
apes
funny as hell.
are.
All right, fellas, I gotta run. I gotta hop in another space. Peace out, man.
See you, Showbiz, and
Later, famo.
thank
Later,
you,
show.
Airlicky. Appreciate you talking about your history. Rito, is it Rito or Rito? What should I call you?
It's Rito. My name's Reed, but I just put a O at the end of it for my artist name.
Sweet, that's a pretty cool artist name.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Rito. You started telling us about your story already. Do you want to like expand on like how you're trying to how you kind of got started stretching the limits of the
Yeah,
Bored Ape IP, and also explain your legendary role as the tailor to me, like I'm 5 and I don't know what it is.
I got you. I can do that. Okay, so when I first started, when the first thing I did when I bought my board ape was I made a Supreme beanie and I put it on my ape. That was the first thing I did, and I didn't really care to rock my ape. I bought an ape that just had a ripped T-shirt and he had no other traits, and I put a Supreme beanie on him because I was like, I want to buy something that's basic so I can add to it like really easily. And that was my theory when I bought my first one, and so I put a Supreme beanie on, and then another ape hit me up and he was like, "Hey, I want a Gucci bucket hat." And so I like didn't have an iPad at this time. I only knew how to like if anybody's familiar with Illustrator, like pen tooling, which is basically drawing but you use like points on like a grid system. And so I was pen tooling apes, which is actually it's pretty like time intensive. If you're not good at pen tooling, it's time intensive. And so I would take me like a day and a half a day to like make some of these customs. And
What is pin
eventually
tooling?
people that's what I was trying to explain. It's basically like where if you want to draw I don't know, like any type of shape, you have to click and make a point, and then if you want to make a curve, you have to kind of like bend it. You have to bend the line, and it comes out really fluent. It looks like you like drew it with a pen. That's why they call it a pen tool. So it's like if it's how to draw without drawing with a mouse, because that's really like uh, you get too many like vibration feedbacks in a mouse drawing. So like this is a way to do it like with a still hand, and you're not really drawing. You're just like making points and connecting all the dots. And so that's pen tool. That's why it takes so long. But I pen tooled a couple apes, and eventually, I had people wanting like full blown customs. I know there was like a Fortnite gamer named Fresh, and he played for like Optic or something, and he wanted like a mullet and like a Stone Island like polo shirt or something. And so like I made one of those, and I think he paid me like $300 in ETH. It was like point 0.1 at the time, but ETH was going crazy. And so I took that money and I ended up buying my first iPad, which is still the iPad I have today. But that's when I like really leveled up my art. And before all this, I was doing all this was before we even had like high res BASI images. They were still like the 700 by 700, like super pixelated. And then we got the high quality, and I got the iPad, and it like just leveled up on what we could do. But I guess where I started like expanding and giving people the ability to create with their board apes was when like that line of customs like got really long, and I was like, I don't want to do like 31 of one apes. And so I was like, how do I make like clothes files or something that like other apes could just download and like place them on, and then they could add whatever pattern if they want a tie dye or they want a bloody hoodie or something, like they could just add that to their hoodie. How can I do that? Like give that to people that aren't artistically inclined, don't know how to use Photoshop, stuff like that. And so I made the first pair of 100 NFTs. It was like a ERC 115, and I called it Derivative Drip. And uh, you could basically buy that. I think they were free actually. They started reselling for like $30, but they were free when I put them out. And Bored Ape Yacht Club actually like reposted it, and they basically like gave you a download file when you bought the NFT, and it went to like Dropbox, and there was a sorry, there was a Photoshop file and you opened it up, and then you could just place your ape underneath. I had the file set up where it was like the glasses and a folder, and there was like a fill layer where you could change the color of the glasses, and then you weren't supposed to touch that at all besides like the color palette, and then you just put your ape in the placeholder underneath and click save, and you could boom, you could change your ape just like that. And I was like, it worked, but if you didn't know Photoshop, it was still like hard to do. Have you ever, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah. I use Photoshop, but I was going to say that's a really like interesting way of doing that. I feel like a lot of people might have trouble with it, but this is like pretty early in NFTs that you're talking about. It sounds like.
Yeah, this is like 2021, I want to say, early 2021, and it got to the point where like I was having to make video tutorials on how to use these templates for like four different art. Like I was doing like Pixa and Canva. Like I was like, I can't keep doing this like this. There's got to be a better way. And then I met Ape Collector, and he's not he's not in here right now, and he's kind of got he's been doing some other things outside of crypto. I haven't been in contact with him, but he kind of helped me build this application that we have that runs this project that this project is like built around. And he built like the functionality of apecloset.com, and with the combination of my art. And basically now what we have advanced it to is, when we had apecloset.com, you could go on there and there's 20 different t-shirts, uh, 20 different hoodie designs, 20 different hats, anything you want. You just type your ape number in, and then you click what design you want, and boom, it like put it over your ape. But the problem was that it didn't take off the traits that your ape already had. And so like you would get traits that are bigger than the t-shirt that stuck out, and it still looked like it was like it needed work, and we knew it needed work, but we just hadn't had the time to like figure out that type of functionality in it. And so I think around like 2022 to 2023, um, apes were going crazy. I had moved out to like Miami, and I started like like I started what was reverse engineering the board ape. And I started taking apart all the traits and redrawing on myself, and remaking all the furs, completely like building the file database that the apes were generated from, but in my version of it. And then we
Wow.
put that into the generator. What were you gonna say?
Nothing. I just said wow. Like the reverse engineering of the apes, it probably took a damn long time.
It did. It seriously did. I think I spent about a year working on everything on my base ape gang that we have right now. I spent about a year to a year and a half, like drawing. The system knows it, where it knows what traits need special functions, stuff like that. Um, but now what we have it, and we have an on-chain version. So it's basically I have the first like ape community curated collection ever, and you can buy an ape, and it has a hat. Like mine right now has a white hat, and it has a black t-shirt with a backpack. And you can actually go in there. I can change the background color to any of the backgrounds that we've allowed you to like pick from. I can change the hat to any of the hat designs we've allowed you to pick from, the t-shirt, and then you can click save, and you can update it on the chain, and it shows on OpenSea. It's not just like a right click save as. Like you are completely in control of how your ape looks, based on like what I technically, me, I'm the artist, but what I give to the community to use and create with. And so like we have seasonal updates. Like we just had Corey Van Loo do like Halloween traits for us, and you could like change like your panel hat to like a pumpkin on your head, or you could get vampire fangs or something like that. And really like get dynamic with it, where they actually change like the accessory, and not just like the pattern of the accessory. So that's where we're at now, is we're I've been in contact with like the Yugo legal team, and we are like a licensee of ApeCoin, so we're like a registered sub community with ApeCoin. And it's been going really good. We have like full support from base. We got builder grants from base. um And so now I think putting the extra supply on Apechain is going to tap into both communities, because Base is like a bunch of technical builders and not really so much artists over on Base. It's a lot of people that build DeFi and functionality, stuff like that, smart wallets, and then Apechain has all the artists. And I think that combining these two communities that are onboarding so many people into the NFT space right now can be like the best thing for both worlds for us. And it's really my whole goal of this has just been giving people the ability to create. And I think it took a while when I first dropped Base Ape Gang, because I like dropped Base Ape Gang and I didn't drop the wardrobe for like another like month after, and so they just sat in their like mint form, and so people were like, they're kind of boring, whatever. And then we put the wardrobe out, and things just took off, and people started realizing like, wow, this is actually cool. I control it, and like they change anytime you want them to. Any type of mood you want. That was always the passion behind like what we were doing, because when we did apecloset.com, we did the suits for Christie's when Apes first went to the Christie's auction. Everybody got suits, and you could just go on the generator and put suits in. And then we did the Adidas tracksuits when we got the Adidas collab with Defunk, and then we did a Halloween drop. I think in like 2022 we did Halloween, and we actually had like a Twitter bot. You could tweet, and it would just send you an image back. So I don't know. I just my whole last like 4 years in crypto has been in the club and creating for other people to help them create in the club, and so I'm really blessed to have been able to be in what is Bored Ape Yacht Club and watch how it became and get to witness this stuff in person and meet the people I've met. Just because, like, dude, I mean, like, Bored Ape Yacht Club changed a lot of people's lives, and I was one of them. And I I hope that a lot of people look back on this one day and re- realize that it wasn't a bunch of like FUD. Like a lot of people's lives changed because of this club.
Um, I want to throw a couple things out there that I wrote down about what you said. One, it sounds like I bought the wrong base tapes because your project sounds fucking awesome. I'm pretty sure I got rugged when I was
You did.
messing around on base. I'm like, I saw Base Tape Gang, and I was like, man, I got rugged with base tapes. I'm like not going to do this. And fucking, if I had known anything about this project, I mean, that's incredible. Like it sounds like it like incredibly difficult to pull off like NFT with changing outfit functionality where you can customize it yourself and then resave it on chain. That sounds like really cool and very difficult, I would think. The Also, I totally agree with you about like Base and Ape Chain like kind of needing to link up or work together, like both of these communities, because like a lot of the reason people went to Base is obviously just because it was like a L2 that's cheaper than Ethereum and it's supported by Coinbase. So like a lot of like new people like testing out crypto, testing out art, were messing around on Base that like don't have access to these other chains. So I feel like it's similar because we've got like Bored Ape community and everybody that was behind like Bored Ape Yacht Club and ApeCoin interested in the Ape Chain launch, where there's kind of a cheaper gas revival of like their artistic spirit, kind of like the same way as Base. So I definitely think there should be some overlap between Base and Ape Chain.
Yeah, Base was the reason I didn't put this on. Like I built this collection. It took me a year, like I said, and I sat on it for a whole year after I had made it because I really did not want to put it on mainnet. I knew it was going to have like problems and fees were going to be a bitch, especially just because it's a derivative. Like people really factor in fees when they buy derivative art, and so like now the application speaks for itself. I think it could be a project on mainnet, but I'm so glad that it's been on Base because it's just a better onboarding experience, and Coinbase is bringing in millions of users every single like month. that have never had wallets, and the smart wallet you can text people meme coins, and it's been great onboarding the experience and the people that are willing to learn on base. I think there's a willingness to learn on the people on base.
I totally agree with you about the willingness to learn, and I feel like Base is doing a good job with educating people from Coinbase like into Web3. So that's another reason I feel like hooking up with like creators on Base with Apechain would be a great idea because this two for right now somewhat distinct audiences of like art collectors that
Yeah, yeah.
could totally work together and both have the same interests really. Um, so I guess can you tell us more about the or here first, Sincere, do you have a question?
Yeah, quick
I
comment.
want to
What up? What up? What up? Yeah, I wanted to add in there that Rito didn't mention that the Base Tape game was actually free. I've been following him since he did the free mint there for all the Macy's and all the Bases on Base. So that was really dope. He was being humble. He didn't mention that he gave those out for free, and they hit like, what was it, like 0.25 ETH?
0.28, I think, was the highest. It was like 650 or something. It was the highest floor we've had so far.
Yeah.
Now, right now, they're sitting at like 350. They've been there for like a couple months now. They've been around 300 to 500.
Yeah, it's a really dope collection. I love the work that you're putting in over there. But my question was, coming over to Ape Chain, is it the same mechanics and everything is the same as like what you're doing, or is there anything different with Ape Chain as opposed to on Base?
So Apechain is going to get the wardrobe just as Base Ape Gang has. It's going to be on the same server, and the only difference between the two is that in Ape Gang on Apechain, um, I have added in a mixture of like the original Base E traits plus like our Base Ape Gang traits, and then I've added like a handful more for each trait option that isn't in either collection. So Ape Gang will like most definitely not have a single duplicate ape that's on like Base Ape Gang, and they'll be like basically separate collections. They'll have separate wardrobes. And what I kind of plan to do is like Space Ape Gang is our homage collection, and um, we've just had like a crazy amount of like our record sales on there. We've had multiple sales over like 1.5 ETH, and so I think for right now, Base Tape Gang is going to get all the dynamic stuff. Like we just did the Halloween where you could actually, like change options, and Ape Gang is just going to stay where it's like colors and patterns and stuff like that. They're not going to get dynamic. Be more of like a true like beginner collection to like if you want to get into like really customizing an ape, and so that's just where it's going to be right now. But if like markets, like even out and they're the same price point or something like that, I don't see why they can't run into the same like having the same mechanics. And so that's kind of where I'm at, having one collection on Ape Chain and one collection on Base.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate you asking the questions and being here for as long as you've been here, because you were one of the OG mentors for free, and you've been with me this entire ride, dude. Thank you for all the support. You, Showbiz, RFDZ, uh, and Tweed's been here a long time too. So yeah, those are my boys.
RTZ, what do you got?
Yo, I got an interesting story, bro. Even before I got into Bay State Gang, Grimy sent me a bunch of NFTs on Blast, and then he jumped over to Base and he sent me a bunch of Base NFTs, and he sent me some like $1 for gas on both chains, on both L2s. So he actually started my journey on these L2s because I used to just be on mainnet all the time. And then, so Grimy, because of that, I got into this. So it's, you know, it's all connected, bro. So I wanted to circle back and highlight that.
That's pretty neat.
Oh, I had no idea that
That's how
that's
you
how you
got on
got in.
bass.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's all like just an EVM wallet. So I guess the same thing I'll put out there for like anybody with Apechain. Like, if you're in here and the reason you haven't got started on Apechain is because you're waiting on bridge prices to go down, and like you just want to mess around with some apps or whatever, and need like 50 cents of ape, like just DM me and I'll throw it your way, and you can test out an app or like launch your NFT collection or whatever you need to do. Free mints or whatever. But
Does
yeah, like
oh,
go
my
ahead.
bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was done talking anyway.
I was just saying, does anybody ever go on gas fees what the fuck and look at what you paid in gas over the last couple of years on mainnet?
Yeah, that hurts me. I don't like looking at that website.
That's why I use Base, because I looked at that website.
But yeah, that's a pretty big chunk. Plus, I was flipping Gucci grills for a long time, so like paying gas on everything is pretty rough.
The Gucci Grail ape NFTs?
Yeah, the apes and mutants, but
The
you know
apes
they're
and mutants? Yeah, so that was basically built off of our app, but we didn't have the ape reverse engineered back then. No one
you're
did.
kidding.
So
Tell me about it.
well, I wouldn't have any hand in that project. I'm just saying, like that the theory of putting clothes over came after we had made Ape Closet, and so when they put that out, I was like, ah, damn, they didn't figure out how to take the clothes off either.
I was gonna say it sounds like the same as it sounded like very similar to like 10KTF.
Yeah, 10KTF and I think Nifty Taylor. We all kind of do the same thing,
Right,
but yeah,
but you're
uh,
just the OG.
mine's the OG, and mine's the only one
Oh
that can
yeah.
take the clothes off.
Yeah, and I
Well,
mean, just to that point, real quick.
Yo.
Oh, my
hey,
bad. Grimy, what's up? Thanks for having me on. Just to that point,
hey,
real
what's up?
quick, though, my Macy has that problem where I have some of the drip on the shoulders. So anytime I want to put a shirt on or something in the closet or Nifty Taylor, I have to have something that covers up some of these other parts. So I totally get that.
Yeah, honestly, he's right though. The Gucci Grill collection, they did not figure out how to do remove the clothes. There's like a couple that have like the stuff poking out, and they probably were inspired by you. And I see that you're the one that's making all these like Adidas profile pictures that I recognize too. So like that's wild. I had no
Yeah, if
idea.
you've ever, it's funny if the hoodie template that is like used, if you ever see a board with a hoodie on, it was like that was my template that I sold on Derivative Drip, and like a lot of artists bought it back then, and now they've used that hoodie in hundreds of different design implementations, and I see it everywhere, and I'm like, damn, I drew that freaking hoodie. And then I think it was like over the summer, Ape Chain was doing a public event, and their flyer on the tent, like on the pop-up booth, had two apes with the hoodies on, and I was like my fucking art is on the apecoin booth, man. I was like, that is sick.
You got like a really unique story. Like I'm very happy you came on here and were able to share it because I
Thank you.
didn't know much of any of this. What advice would you give to someone that's starting out as an artist like right now in either Apechain or Base?
iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil. I have a 14-month-old daughter, and she can already draw like circles, not very controlled, but I give it to her every now and then with the Apple Pencil, and it's the cognitive function increasement that's happening to this child is, I would have to say, is amazing. And like seeing her understand how like pressure works on the Apple Pencil is crazy. Like watching a child that knows nothing try to figure it out. uh, I don't give my child a lot of screen time. I know there's other parents in here, but when I do, it's normally drawing. It's not like watching videos and stuff like that. I let her draw because she's a very blossoming little girl. But yeah, I think that the best thing an artist could get that wants to get into, especially NFTs, is get an iPad and an iPad pencil. And I mean, even if you want to draw physical, the iPad is great because you don't need supplies. You can undo and redo as many times as you possibly want to, and not have to go through rounds of paper, go through, markers, pens, all that stuff that actually costs a lot of money when it adds up. I went to art school. I know what they charge for that shit. And so, yeah, I think the iPad is the best thing. And don't even get the big one. Get the regular size one. I think it's like right at $1,100 or something like that. You could even get a used one. But yeah, the iPad, and I use Procreate. That's my go-to, and um, the Apple Pencil. But um, the one thing I have learned, and Ehrlich, you was talking about Procreate and Fresco earlier, was that with Procreate, like, you can't, if you draw something and then you want to resize it, you lose all quality. And it's like a weird Procreate glitch that they have because they operate on pixels and not point systems or something like that. But if you want to resize something, it loses all your quality. So you really have to like downsize something and then draw it in that place if you want to like make it smaller or fit it. And then so I use Photoshop. I go back and forth. I've like put logos on and stuff in Photoshop because I can move them around and not compromise their quality, versus like if I were to resize a logo on Procreate, it's just gonna look like digital mush because it can't do it. Can't do that.
Uh, one more question, or a couple more actually. Why why would you recommend that people on base try out Apechain if you would?
So I would try out Apechain just because it's something new, and normally when you're new to something, there is a lot of good experiences to come from that because there's other people. It's like that willingness to learn thing. If you're willing to go learn over there, there's other people that are willing to teach. So I think there's knowledge on Apechain, really, and that's why I want to go to Apechain. That's why when like I was in talks and I was like suggested that we do go to Apechain, I was like, okay, like I'll have to figure out how we can like do it without compromising what we've built on base. But I think that bridging those two communities and getting adoption from the core community that is like Basie and Macy, and maybe like potentially like I really want this app to be something that is on like Bored Ape's website, where if you even had a real Bored Ape you could do this with it, but it might not, like, I don't think I know they'll never change on-chain data, but it would be cool to have this on Bored Ape's website, and they should have had it two years ago, where you could increase and enhance the IP of your Bored Ape. You know, if that's what they gave them to us for, and I think if they had a creator suite like that, that it would bring so much more wealth to Bored Ape Yacht Club. So that's why I built this app, was to just put it right in front of the club, like it's built. Like you just have to use it.
I'm excited. I'm definitely gonna check out the base tapes. When are you haven't already released the Ape Gang on Apechain yet, have you?
No, so I'll speak about the specifics. So we're launching on the Magic Eden launchpad on the 27th. And what we're doing is there's 3,333 supply, but like our current holders are getting an airdrop of their allocation, but they have to claim right now up until Monday. And so the portion that's not claimed, all those holders that don't claim will still get one. If they had like 4 apes in the wallet, they'll still get one. But the additional supply, because they're dormant wallets, is going to go into the mint. So there will be a little over 1,100 for mint. And then we're going to do 2 mint periods where The first one is Bored Apes and Mutants only, and they get an hour at 33 ape each. And then the second period will be G's and Jimmy's, and then our base tape holders, and they get another hour, and that's also at 33 ape. And then the public sale will come after those 2 hours, and that's going to be at 50 ape. And I really don't think we'll get the public, honestly, with the two communities and the Bored Apes and the Mutants, but that's how it's going to go down, and that's on the 27th.
Awesome. I'll write on the calendar, dude. Make sure you throw Mysterious Dudes in there with that first round with Bored Apes and Mutant Apes so they can compete with them for the 33.
Mysterious Dudes.
Yeah. Check them out on Apechain. But all right, I guess, is there anything else people should know? Any pages we should follow?
If anybody has questions, all four questions if anybody wants to come up. But we kind of pinned some tweets. I think you shared the one that B3PO Tweed put up.
Feel free to
You
add
shared
it
the
in one of
airdrop.
those. And sorry, go ahead.
The one that's on the third dot is the really important one that I put up, and that whole thread has a lot of information about what we've already built. But that video is a tutorial on how the apes are customized, and it shows you when they update on chain. And so I would watch that video if you're interested in the project, because it'll probably give you a over the fence. And so there's a lot of things you can do with this, and there's a lot of things as time goes on that will be added to it, because that's the possibilities with this app are endless, bro. Like we kind of knocked off like the Babe collab. I redrew the camo, put our logos in it, stuff like that. But like if we ever got a collab with like a real company that could do this, like there's a lot of potential with this project, and so I'm happy to have built it and got it to the point where it's at now, and see where it progresses to.
Yeah, I'm excited to mint. I just reposted your base tape gang photo up to the first one.
Oh, thank you.
So people can check that out.
Oh, yeah. I heard someone else talking.
Yeah, what's up?
I just wanted to ask, what if somebody is new to NFT? How do you start up?
How do I start it? How do you start it?
Yeah.
So are you asking like how do you deploy NFTs? Like how do you actually create them? If you have art,
Yeah,
but you
that's
don't,
one.
if you have art, but you don't know how to get it on chain. I'm trying to figure out what point you need to be you need explained.
Okay, I already have my arts and everything, but how to post them and get buyers and stuff like that?
You got to do a lot of self marketing. I would make another like Twitter account of your project, and you can use. There's a lot of really nice mint sites out there right now. If you want to mint on Apechain, you could use free with 3 E's. Free dot. I can't think of the end, but if you just go or you search free with 3 E's on Twitter, you should find it. But there's a lot of good mint sites, and you can do like allotted periods where you only let certain people mint for a certain time period. And does anybody have any links we could send this guy? Like
you should shoot me a DM, because like
yeah,
there's a lot that I could help you with, honestly.
There's a lot, man.
yeah. I know there's just
Pad,
Medium articles that if you read, it'd sum it
Mint
all
Pad,
up. So
they even help you out. With a lot of questions like one on one too in their DMs. Blever does a lot of minting right now. But I would really go to boring security first to understand how the blockchain works, right? And if you check out manifold.xyz, they have these tutorials where it doesn't explain it in super in depth, but it kind of like walks you through it, and you don't have to do the whole thing, but you could just read it and then try to figure out where you would need help at. That would help people get to where a base of where you're at. So like
Okay.
with with MintPad, it's pretty self-explanatory. They pretty much walk you through the whole site on how to upload, um, and all that. But it just depends on where you're trying to take this art project, like what you're trying to do with it. But I really suggest going to Boring Security first. Not because I used to mod there, but because it's really informative information on navigating the blockchain, right? It's understanding what you're signing, what you're seeing, looking for red flags. Because in this space, even as far as we've come, it's still super easy to get scammed out your wallet, man. And yeah, you might not have a lot in there right now, but let's just say you did whatever, and you popped off, and you had a couple hundred sales, and now you're at a couple hundred ape, and then boom, it's all gone. Because with the scammers are smart, bro. They'll sit here and they'll wait. They'll have the password to your to your wallet, and they will wait until it's time to pick you off, and they gonna INT that. So it's real. The space is super up and coming, super techy, right? But it's not understandable though, right? So like people in places like Boring Security, their Discord, they have these 101 classes that pretty much give you the base of how to maneuver through the space. And then so once you understand like what you're signing, what I mean, how to use extensions and all that, then I'd feel more comfortable with telling you like, hey, go here and mint this. Because if we just tell you to do that right now, you're just gonna go be signing. You're just going to be signing stuff right through the blockchain, and you're not even going to know what you're doing. So I'd cover that base first, and then I'd gradually look up on all these mint sites, these different mint
Probably
applications.
MintPad, honestly,
And then
because they help
yeah,
you through
MintPad
it
is
so much.
super easy. Yeah, it's one of those things where you read it, but then it's because I understood how to deploy a contract and what happens when I deploy a contract, right? I learned that when I was reading through Manifold and like figuring out how to do it on ETH mainnet. But the key is to understand what you do first, is what I'm trying to get to.
No, facts, dude. And I think as a creator, also learning how smart contracts work is worth every bit of time that you put into it, because I know you're up here chilling Manifold, but I don't like Manifold. It's great for beginners, but if you actually know what goes on a contract and you want to have the ability to change stuff, you are locked out of it and can't do anything. And so I learned that with Manifold on my first two projects, and I was like, I don't like this. So I ended up like Base Tape Gang is on a what site do I use? Developers Limit Break. I use Limit Break's ERC 721-C creator, and I can control everything on it. I can control like what marketplaces have to pay the royalty. I can actually like block marketplaces on it. You can actually like blacklist wallets that are like automated trading and really like ruining your floors and stuff like that, because they're just like lowering the price every 10 minutes. And so like we migrated from OpenSea's like creator contract to this new one in July, I think. And I haven't had a single problem being able to just like have control over my smart contract. So I really also second like learning how smart contracts work as a creator, because it'll make the difference in your projects.
Oh, ho.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for explaining that to him. Rito
Thank you very much.
or Captain Tweed, what's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to get one thing in because I don't know, how quick it'll get out of hand, or get on other topics. But one thing so I was fortunate enough that the Base Tape Gang was my first NFT that I bought ever. I was around in 2021. I just waited. So for a while and changed things and traits. I will say that one of the things I notice is that when I go to other NFT projects that I'm buying, I start to think really heavily like, do I like the background? Do I like the traits of the ape and stuff? Because you can't change them. So it does change the way you think about NFTs a little bit, because you're not set into one set of traits when you buy it. I actually paid a little bit more in the beginning for some of the apes that I bought based on the wardrobe. And we've actually seen instances where people will buy an ape off the floor, take it to the wardrobe, change a little, change the hat, color, background, whatever, put it back up for sale and relist it and make a 10-15% profit in no time. So very interesting. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
And he's not lying. Like, I'm talking like 3 hours. We had someone flip one for double, not because of the rarity, like seriously because of how it was color changed and curated. It went from like one that had mismatching traits to one that was like all pink, and it literally sold. And 3 hours later, the dude made twice the money he paid for it.
That's really cool because you're like turning your NFT collectors into artists too.
Yeah, and so I guess the important thing that a lot of people are skeptical about rarity on there, and like I like the one thing that really sucks about NFTs right now, and it's not NFTs, it's just the marketplaces, is that they can control the rarity of how they're ranked. And OpenSea like ranked all my naked apes as like the lowest, the highest. They're like the rarest apes, and they have no traits to even customize, strictly because they are in the lowest percentage of trait count out of all the trait counts. So that's how they like rank there. And so I tell people, like, when you're buying a base tape, buy like what you like, and if it has like glasses, a hat, and clothes, that's probably going to give you the most trait customization abilities possible because you have every trait category filled. If you buy one like base tape gang, base tape goat has right there, the like naked alien with the fangs, like he can really only change his teeth to fangs. He can change his glasses, and he can change his spiky mohawk, but he can't put clothes on, and so like you're limited there. So it's like important, like if you saw like a naked one on the floor and it's like rarity 24, someone's gonna be like, oh, I want that, and they snap it up. But then like that's not really the point of this collection. It's just like you're not gonna be able to do anything with that ape after you just bought it because it doesn't have a lot of. So what, what I did with base tape gang, and there's a little more than I would have liked the naked ones. What I'm doing with Ape Gang is I'm actually making sure that a lot of them have clothes and there's not too many nakeds, because we have quite a bit of nakeds on Base Ape Gang, and they're like bottom of the barrel, but a lot of people love them. But uh, we got some interesting collectors. They have our community has a nude beach party every Saturday with their apes because they have no clothes, and they all just post photos of their apes. It's great.
Sounds like the other side or something. Like,
It's our version of it, man. It's our version. But yeah, I'm trying to loop back to what I started talking at. Just like there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff that you can add to your ape, and like change it. And I think when people the first time you buy, you'll probably be skeptical, and then you'll go on the wardrobe, and once it clicks that like you are the controller, I think that's when people get conviction. Like it hits really hard. So I have where a lot of collections get whales at the beginning, and those whales filter out. My whales have stayed since mint. I have my top 10 holders have all been holding since free, and I don't think they're going anywhere because they just love the idea and the mechanics behind the collection.
sorry, the thumbs down was on accident. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I think you got like a really cool corner of this space with like this fashion crowd. Like it's definitely dedicated, and also the interactive NFTs. So thank you for coming up and sharing your art. Is there anything else that you'd want to leave people with?
uh no, I think I've talked a lot, man. I've talked a lot more than I normally do in spaces, but I'm glad I got to share a little bit of my story, because like we all have crazy stories, man. If you really want to, it's like a Joe Rogan podcast. You need 3 hours to tell a story about your life, bro. And I didn't even
Right.
touch on anything before I was like 18. You know, like I'm 27 now, so it's crazy. But I'm glad I got to come up here and talk. Thank you for having me, Grimy and Airlicky. It's great hearing what you're creating, bro. I'm gonna look out for that, and always been a fan of your art. So thank you for having me, Grimy.
Of course. Thanks, Rito, and you're welcome to come back anytime too. I should have asked you
Oh,
about
sweet.
your art history, but you were like on a roll already from the beginning, so I just kind of let you talk about the project because it was very interesting. So, Honeybee, are you there?
Yeah.
Do you have your cello present?
Of course, of course.
All right, sweet. Let's get a cello intermission, and then we'll move on to our next artist here, Sandman, and then Professor Jasper.
Bro, Honeybee, you're a goat, bro. This shit is so fucking fire, man.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Also, we sold out Mingles yesterday, so I'm fucking hyped, bro. I did not sleep. I got back home, was on the spaces until like 1 p.m. and then I crashed at like 2 p.m., bro. Like, fucking died. Fucking dead.
Yeah, he's like dead every day, and then comes on here and plays a symphony.
Did I play Jello? It's like my morning ritual at this point.
Amazing, as usual. Thanks for your performance. I really appreciate it and love the cello. It's always nice, nice break.
Much love, much love.
Appreciate you, and congrats on the mint out for Mingles.
It was with the love and support of everyone here. So I appreciate you guys because we had a great space yesterday too with everybody, with Chris, you, G Spot, and fucking Shelvis. It was great. And Rita fucking trying to kill me with 100 minutes yesterday. So it's okay. It's okay. Life is good though.
Awesome.
Bro, don't tell me you were playing that live. Get the fuck out of here.
He was playing that live. He's been doing it every couple of spaces. He's wild.
Who is that? Because Twitter's broken. I can't see who's talking.
Honeybee Dot is who was playing. Got the
Yeah.
DMTA.
Bruh.
It's live.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. All right, Professor Jasper, you're in the audience. I'm going to have you speak up after Sandman. I keep trying to invite you to speak, but it's not working. So maybe try to request to speak from your end if you can hear me. But let's have Sandman come up, and he talking about his new NFT release, which is the first book on Apechain, if I'm correct.
Yes, yes. Hello, GM. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, so I've got the Mint went live today. It's basically a box set of two coffee table books that are representation of my work over the last 30 years. It's minting on Clever. There's 300 editions. There's signed and numbered editions. And there'll be a token claim for the physical book later on announced. So the first book is Installations. It's got like 20,000 pages, 200 or 20,000 words, and like full color, 232 pages, probably about 230 or more color images. Sand Paintings book is 108 pages, and they're both measured 12 by 12 into a sleeve box set kind of style, and that's it. It's I've also got the Portals collection. People can still pick that up, and I don't know. That's pretty much it.
So what are the contents of the book exactly? I don't know if I understood. It's just
So the first book is Installations, and it details stories and different things about the 1994 up until about 2009 with installation art that I've made mostly on the West Coast using flowers, seeds, berries, auto parts, computer parts, um, money, bullets, all kinds of different found objects, and stories about it, where it was detailed and where it was made. And the second book is all sand paintings starting around 2006. And those been doing primarily in New York City, but all around the world, like in different Germany, Netherlands, Dubai, Miami, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, all over the place. So
I know a lot of the.
over
Sorry, go ahead.
it's just over 1,000 sand paintings total that I've done, represented in the Portals collection, which is sort of the digital twin of all the sand paintings.
I know you've talked about your sand paintings before on the space, but there's a lot of new people here, especially from base today. Do you want to explain like the process behind your sand paintings and like what the portal collection is? I'll pin the portal link up top.
Yeah, there's a link up top says what are portals, and has a little time lapse of me doing the sand painting. That's in Chicago this past year, where I just start in the middle and start pouring hand colored or colored sand through my hand, and spend 6, 8, 10 hours depending on the day, where it might be, the scale, and just pour out this drawing on the ground, all spontaneous. In the case of Chicago, they keep it for a while, but on a daily basis, I would do it in New York City and sweep up by the end of the day. So I'd create something out of sand for 6 or 8 hours, and then leave it set for a few hours before sweeping it up, and then going to home and coming back the next day. So it was like a process of about 12 years in New York City where I did that, and earned this sort of moniker of Sandman by the city. So
And when you're doing these sand paintings, do you know what you're going to do like in your head as you're doing it, or do you just kind of wing it as you go?
it's all spontaneous. spontaneous. I just kind of start and just, you know, improvise the whole design. But it's sort of a, you know, you create over time, it like created a hieroglyphic language of different objects that were in my previous installation art. So like you'll see DNA and circuitry and biological forms and sea anemones and things like that. So I'll try to reflect nature in these as well as like science and technology and industry all throughout like a hieroglyphic language within. You'll see Celtic knots and different other cultural patterns, and you know, just explore those different things in the middle of New York.
how did you get started in stand painting?
I've been doing all the installations just from, you know, gotten into that through traveling all around the world, and then when I was using all these found objects, I lived in San Francisco and had a solo show in New York. And so when I flew to New York, I had to scavenge materials all around to do this gallery showing and went to places like Materials for the Arts to get different, it's like a nonprofit that has like basically corporate throwaways or whatever, and just excess materials, whether it's buttons or paper or whatever you might find, ceramic tiles, things like that. And so I picked up some tile and then went to the flower market and found like shells and dried flowers and things like that to use because I needed things that were small. And I discovered the colored sand, and that was the first time I used it in like 2006. And since then, it sort of crept into other installations, and then finally just moved to New York and started using sand primarily as a medium.
I'm trying to go through our questions without being repetitive because I know you've talked about your portraits a lot, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
You're in like basically every single space, so everyone knows all about the portals. Um, I guess like what went into like minting a book on Apechain? Like, was it any different? And what platform are you, or yeah, you're using Blevver or what platform are you using?
Use a Blever, and it's, you know, just the same. Like, it's really, it's like I'm not sure if it's I think it's 1155 token that they minted. So it's just a token to have a claim to the physical book, and
Gotcha.
you know, just in terms. So it's just the rotating book picture that everyone gets, numbered copy box set of the two books. You know, so it's over 350 pages of full color, and they're 12 by 12 inches. So, um, you know, it just represents a huge milestone in my career where I, you know, during COVID, I pivoted into doing more digital stuff and archived all my work out of a million photographs that I had, chose all these for the book, and put all the books together, designed them, and wrote all the text. And then my wife and I edited things, and now we have like a print consultant to come out with this museum quality book.
Is this the only way that you're selling the book is through the Apechain NFT claim? And also, do the NFTs get burned when you claim them?
It will either be a burn to claim, and then I'll issue another token to represent things, or it'll be something that you retain. Um, but it's just a matter of whether or not that token can be used to get a set of books. So probably a burn to claim, and then I'll issue like a certificate or something out of it that's been claimed. However, the mechanics of the devs like work out on that end is, you know.
And then, were you selling it outside of this collection, or is it only through Apechain NFTs that you're selling the book?
The first 300 will be signed and numbered in this. It'll be this collection. So anything furthermore will be like after the book is printed, and we'll probably make a few more sets of the book, but then sell them individually as well. And then the plan is just keep, the book sells forever, but this is a special edition at the very beginning.
This is a really interesting way to like sell the book, especially directly to your like most devoted collectors, who have access basically to these 300 initial signed copies. So I mean that's a pretty cool way to go about rewarding your collectors, and also like integrating a book onto Apechain. So I hope it's successful.
Yeah, I hope so. It's it's not minted a lot today. It's a little disappointing, but I realize it's a bigger purchase, and people got to really be into it.
I think they
And
will be too.
I think the Portals collection is severely undervalued
100%.
when you really think what it is. And these books are just one of those things that commemorate like 30 years of career. So that's, and if you ever look at those, large scale books that are full color, they're expensive to print. So it's really quite a nice, getting the extra sleeve and all the other stuff. And um, I looked into more shipping, and I think it'll just all be included, or like a flat rate. But I need to dig into, like, I ship it to Kazakhstan or Poland or wherever. Is it going to be more, or is it going to be, $30 for me to ship it, and balance all that out? But my intent is to keep all the cost as low as possible, or kind of peg to this mint price.
Are you leaving the mint open for a while as well?
Yeah, it's going to be open. Like, I can't really print the books until it mints and I can ship, you know.
Okay, yeah. I think
I'm
there's
doing
some
all kinds of. It's a matter of there's Art Basel coming up and other things, so it's going to be offered to, we're in a sort of really exclusive community right here on Apechain right now, but when it gets out there a little bit, we'll be able to do that more.
Yeah, people aren't used to the more expensive mints, but this is like a pretty
Right.
wild deal.
And there's other
with the
parts of the
physical.
space that are familiar with crypto as well. And if I get more spaces like that, and they may be on Tezos or Solana or ETH, but it's not a leap to get them to use Apechain and to onboard them into this space. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's very easy, as we've all discovered.
Well, I wish you good luck with the book. I definitely think it's going to mint out. I think people on Apechain are just kind of like not used to the high mint prices yet, but like this work is definitely worth it, especially from a physical, and with the amount of time that you put into the actual artwork included in the physicals. So like I think it's just people realizing what you're selling, and it's just a matter of time, and also the volume getting here for people to stop buying things for like $4 a mint, because like they're just not used to the. I think people are scarred from Ethereum prices. I've said this a few times. They look at it and they're thinking thousands instead of $1. Like otherwise, he was trying to take a couple dollars profit on these, you know. So I think it'll mint out. I'm rooting for you. I'll get some when I get some open ape.
Definitely, thank you. It's amazing to just be able to get here and let it out, and grateful to all the portal holders and people who've minted this so far. But great to share. Thanks. If anybody has questions.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions for Sandman before we move on to Professor Jasper? All right.
What is your favorite tequila?
My favorite tequila. I like the Dolce Vita, but I heard there's this other one that I need to try.
I saw your deleted
Yeah, yeah.
video of your tequila shot from the other day. You should have saved that. Those faces
I
were
got it on
awesome.
my phone.
Oh, that's good enough. But those spaces were a lot of fun with the tequila.
Yep.
Honeybee Day's live stream is crazy. All right, Professor Jasper, how you doing? If you can hear me.
Hi, I'm doing good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay, great.
So first things first, tell us about the first time that you remember making art and why you got into it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, besides maybe, your finger paints, the first maybe interaction I had, my mother had some certificate she had to get for her work. And it was at a local community college during the summer. I think I was in 6th grade. This will start to tell you how old I am. But I tagged along with her, and she signed me up for a kids, like a class, an art class at the community college. And in that class, it was a programming class in BASIC. So old guy. But we actually, part of the class was making a graphics, right? So we made like a jukebox, like the picture of a jukebox using BASIC, and then wrote the code to make, like little jingles, what you would think of as in like a Nokia brick phone kind of jingles, right? But that was very eye-opening for me at a young age, that was a thing, and that it was that accessible to people. So yeah, that was probably my first maybe foray into I guess using code for art.
So that you were using code for like graphic design, then it sounds like your current art that you're releasing now, are you still like using code and making generative art?
Yep. Yeah. So the project that I've been working on and should release in several weeks is using P5. So using processing, if anyone's familiar with like art blocks, similar type of platform, to create art, where there's just a whole bunch of code that goes in and a bunch of variables, and then you give it basically a random number, and then it picks from that random number and says, okay, if the 4th digit is a 2, then do this. If the 5th digit is a 6, then do this. And you don't really have any idea what's going to happen, kind of, which leads to lots of work, honestly, to tweak things to get it to do kind of what you want. You love to see unexpected outputs and things, but you also want them to be kind of cohesive. So that's yeah, kind of how it's related now. I don't I haven't coded all the way straight through from 6th grade until now. Things have changed quite a bit. I'm not like formally trained artist by any means. I'm an engineer. I worked in like assembly lines pretty much my whole life, making assembly lines and stuff. But I've always created stuff, always since I was little. From like oil on, on canvas. I tagged for a while. Sorry to the poor train cars for that. Like Posca markers, pixel art, wood sculpture. Like in my profile, you could see the banner is it's actually a board ape that I made for someone. It's out of oak, and then it's all like hand carved and then like custom stained to like match their ape. So like always just keeping my hands busy with something, but I always like learning new techniques just to make cool stuff. I just like.
That's just like a one-off. That's not even like a regular medium for you. You just made like a one-off, like wood carving like that.
Well, I've one of the jobs that I've had in the past. I worked with a carpenter for several years. I was a welder for several years, like in school to help pay for school. And I've always been just like doing stuff with my hands. I like building stuff, so always comfortable with tools and stuff. But the sculpture, the wood sculpture thing came kind of made only maybe a few pieces, maybe starting in like maybe like 10 years ago, just a couple of things or like gifts for people, right? And then after I got more into NFTs and things, I really like the concept of having something physical that's attached, to an NFT. So in those cases, like the ape that I made, and I've made a couple of punks for people. I put like a NFC tag inside of it so that when they hang it up, they can just like tap their phone to the piece, and then it links right to the item, or it can like link to their own site or something that's cool like that. But yeah, that's just kind of just like an idea I had, and then I ended up making probably about maybe like 10 different wood variants. I made a zombie for one guy, and that was cool. I like it was a zombie that has a bandana, and I made the bandana a separate piece, and behind the bandana is like a little carve out, and he was joking that he could put his joints in there, and but yeah, I just like just making stuff, all the time. So I'm always trying to find new mediums and ways to kind of challenge myself.
Talk to us about P5. So like I just heard about this for the first time a week or so ago when we had some other artists on the space talking about coding and generative art. So I've been messing around with P5.js for the last couple of days. I don't know anything about it. Probably, dude. I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
There's a couple people actually. I mentioned that one. There's like automatic 1111 stable diffusion, a couple tools, and comfy UI. But I'm wondering what advice do you have for getting started with P5.js? Maybe to somebody that doesn't have experience with code.
Sure. Yeah. So in the processing site itself, they have some really good samples and tutorials and things inside of there where like the interface is really easy to use. You can just open your browser, pick a one example thing, and then just start playing with variables, right? You don't need to be an expert. I'm not formally trained in any software development. It's just something that I've been around enough and I like, and I am sometimes can be very, very focused on if I want to learn it. You can probably see so far I'm kind of scatterbrained. I very much have ADD, so I'm all over. But when it's something I love, then I have no problem staying up for like 50 hours learning it. So that's useful sometimes. But I would recommend that the site itself, processing is just awesome. And there's, once you maybe graduate out of some of those samples, I very highly recommend going to the Art Blocks dedicated site. Like you can look at the different collections and stuff that they have, like through what Magic Eden and OpenSea and stuff. But like they overall, their site is awesome. Like if you just want to, like, if you got a couple hours to kill and make yourself a drink and just cruise through there, it's so awesome. And it's to just sort of like take your time, take them in. There's so many different styles that can come out of just a couple hundred lines or even less of code. It's really amazing, really. That's one of the things that I think I like about it, because it's kind of a very much an even playing field. Like it's not like if you're super well funded, or you have like the best tools for this or that, like you can be better than someone. It's just like literally just an open terminal, right? And just go. And I like that a lot. And the outputs that come out of there are crazy. I really really like and inspired by a lot of the art that comes out of there.
I love the way you put an open terminal as like an even playing field, because it totally is. Like anybody who has the willpower to like learn how to put this stuff together can make beautiful art, or like any applications at this point. Mm-hmm. So I really like bringing that up. Is the project that you're releasing this resonant one I posted above? It says resonant coming to
yes.
Ape.
Yep.
So I was wondering what's like your process for how you created that in as much detail as you can give us.
Sure. Yeah. So I have a lot of open and you've probably already seen it as you've started playing with in there. Like you'll start to have a lot of kind of maybe half started projects or things, and they like develop kind of over time. Of they start with like one little function that kind of works, and you're like, oh, okay, and then you take it a little further, and then it like starts to mean a little bit more, and then you really start to like hone in on things, and then it really starts to like tell a story. And so I have lots of those in my drive. But this is one that I have slowly worked on for maybe like a year, kind of like off and on. And the kind of like premise for it is like relationships, really. So you can, not sure which what's in the jumbotron, but I tweeted something just a little while ago.
I went and added a couple of things in the jumbotron. So the last two things are actually like my works, which actually ironically I've used P5JS to create. That's yeah. So sorry if you were trying to look for one that you might have pinned, you might have to click to the right a little bit.
Oh yeah,
I just threw it back up there as the first one.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So the yeah, I guess premise for it being like relationships, that thinking of the project as kind of like a snapshot of your life, or sort of someone's life, that like these are MP4s. They're pretty short, and they don't loop perfectly, and that's kind of on purpose, because it's thinking of this as like a snapshot where like the flashes of the interactions that you see are like interactions that you have with various people, and then interactions they have with people, and some are bright, some are like bold, some are calm, some are nuts, some are, there's lots that sort of outputs that come out of it. And that's, I think, how like life kind of goes, which is why I kind of like stuck with this. Yeah.
I guess I'm still kind of having trouble understanding what this is meant to represent. So like the dots are relationships or conversations you've had with people. This is almost like a communication network, or like what are we
exactly?
looking
Yeah.
at?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So thinking of, like if you look back at a certain part of your life, it could be a short period. Sometimes it's very, smooth. Sometimes you have a lot going on, and the people around you have the same thing. Sometimes you're in positions where it's absolutely nuts, and this is meant to sort of represent all those different phases, because there's good, there's bad, there's ugly, there's crazy, there's super calm, there's some that are just almost perfectly still with only just a very few interactions, and that's really where I kind of like tried to hone the outputs towards.
When can people look forward to this mint? Is each piece like unique from each other?
There's maybe a couple might have similar palettes, but all definitely one of one. There's some groupings kind of traits that I'll make sure that are present in the metadata. But yeah, it's a pretty small collection. I'm still kind of like finalizing it, but it'll only be maybe around like 200 pieces or something like that. And I'll mint through Blubber, probably in a couple of weeks. I'm just kind of working, finalizing some things with it. But yeah,
The important question: how do we get on this allow list?
Yeah. So I did right before I came on. Finally got the kids to sleep. Thank God. I put I tweeted another sort of thread out there with more outputs, so you guys can see more. Like the one that's on the jumbo has one from a few days ago, but the one I just did has, I think, 6 or 7 different outputs. You can see how much they vary. And in that thread, you drop your Apechain wallet, and I'm picking at least 5 from that by tomorrow. It's a good place to start. And I'll probably work directly with some communities too, starting that process to get a lot more people on allow this.
The people on Telegram. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just complimenting him. I mean, as someone who's been working in P5JS for many years now, and I love this. 100%. I love the way you've animated the particles, the randomness, but the controlled variables. I think that's one of the most important things with working with P5JS to create collections, is that there's still a very consistent output, enough where you can tell it's part of the same collection, right? Part of the same script. And these are very vibrant. I love the color palettes you're using, and I can just tell, like, through the variances in like particle sizes, the behavior, that you're taking, a lot of thought into how different and how you want it to be, the ranges between the variable values. So really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that.
I think so. This link up top, is this the one where people should comment their Apechain address if they want to be considered for the allow list?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so I'll leave that up top for a second. Is there anything else you want people to know about your collection? Maybe some timeline or anything? Anyone has any questions?
I actually wanted to offer, like, I don't know if you so I know one of the things that I did with like conform Chaos, for example, which I had pinned up to the top. That was actually the first installation that I dropped back in 2022 on Ethereum under the Art by Code alias. And since it was such a large collection, one of the things that I've kind of custom built within my script was like the generation of the metadata. And basically you can just kind of click run. It'll generate X amount of pieces. It'll output the assets and the metadata as JSON files. And I know it's been very useful for even my most recent drop, Isometric Paradise. I wanted to offer, like, I don't know if that was something you might have stumbled upon, wanted to be able to also create the metadata seamlessly in your script. I'm happy to offer that portion of the code to you if you want.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, get my DMs, man. I'll help you out. I got you.
Yeah, thank you a lot. Yeah, I have I the variables that I already have are kind of named, right? Like I know them, like you can tell, right? You've been in here, like
that's exactly what it is.
Like the deterioration speed, like the paths that they're all going to take, and then like some of the backgrounds are gradients, some have like purling waves and like all kinds of different stuff, and but how to do that easily. Granted, this will only be maybe around 200, so it's not too bad to just keep track of them. But if I could do that,
heck yeah, yeah. You should shoot me over a DM anytime. Between now and I'll show you. What it looks like, what the script I'll share with you, what the code block looks like, and it'll be plug and play. Honestly, you'll just kind of map some variables to some variables to the variable values that you are using with each run, for each draw, excuse me, and then it saves it automatically. So like I can tell this is like using like an export of a GIF. It'll save a couple frames, export it after a certain amount of time, and then with each export, it'll also export the JSON with all the traits that you want. So I'm just looking at this. I'm just like entrenched. I'm literally staring at your post from 26 years ago, and as I'm talking to you, I'm literally just staring at it. It's beautiful. So kudos to you. I'm looking forward to this drop.
Yeah, and one question I have for the crowd and is these are outputting like 30 frames a second. Most of them are around 10 seconds, and they're converted to MP4s. But I was wondering if anyone knows if there's some kind of like cap or limit on like marketplaces reading those, because they're 4K by 4K.
Yeah. So what you can do is you can actually export two media types. One can be GIF, and then you can also export it as a video. You would make the default image the GIF, or even a static image if you wanted to, and then, but that takes away from just obviously just enjoying it. I'd love to kind of scroll down and see all the animations as well, but there's also animation URL in the metadata that you can use, and you would point that to the videos. Just take into account hosting the video assets and whatnot on IPFS. Usually those have some limitations and stuff, but I'm happy to work with you to get through that that hurdle, because been there, done that, and I'd like to help you immortalize this art. What I mean, on Apechain. Why not?
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. We'll definitely catch up after. Thank you.
Heck yeah.
Professor Jasper, is there anything else you want to share, or do you have I guess I don't remember if I missed it, but the timeline for when you might mint?
Probably in not too long, maybe a couple of weeks. I have already kind of like a channel open with the Blubber team, and they're awesome. So they know it's coming. They seem excited too. So yeah, probably in max maybe early December. Let's say.
Awesome. I'll keep a lookout for it and follow your page. Thank you for coming up and sharing about your history and about your artwork. I really appreciate it, and I think your artwork's beautiful. So I'll be looking out for the mint.
And
Thank you.
which post was it? The post you pinned to the top that you drop your address in for allow list spots?
Yep. Yeah. The one that has kind of it cycles through several different.
Yeah, the one I've been staring at for the last 5 minutes.
I just pinned it up one more time just in case for anybody that wants to be considered for the allow list. So it's this post with the orange thumbnail preview. Give that a like, a retweet, and drop an Apecoin address or Apechain address on there to be considered for Professor Jasper's allow list. All right, we're gonna open it up to the group. Crypto Bullies, did you want to talk about Isometric Paradise? That's one of my favorite collections right now.
I'm always happy to talk about my work, but I first and foremost, because I haven't actually been on the speaker panel with Honey ever since they minted out. I want to congratulate you, my guy. You went in on throwing these shots back since last night. You committed to the craziness. I did post a tweet about it earlier, and I'm just happy that I wasn't an accomplice to your but dude, like, you guys killed it. Honestly, this is the kind of space that I love to be a part of. Is like with creators that are willing to go above and beyond to see things through. I know a lot of people might have pushed you to say, hey, decrease supply or blah blah blah, and a lot of people actually do succumb to that pressure, but you stayed true to your goal, and you knew what your target number was, and you made it happen, dude, by any means necessary. A lot of people, even more so than that, than tuned into the space, was tuned into your video stream and just watching your DJing ass throwback shots while playing the cello until you just couldn't anymore. And I vibe with that energy. I vibe with that dedication. And dude, like, kudos to you for real, man. Tequila.
Dude, that was so much fun, dude. And I went clubbing right after too. It was great. I didn't sleep. I came back, went clubbing, and at like 6, I was back on Spaces again, and I was like, all right, more shots. Let's keep minting. Let's go.
Oh my god! I woke up and you're at like 94%. I was like, whoa, my man.
No, I much loved it. Like, it was so great to have you there supporting and witnessing the shenanigans.
Of course. That's what we're here for. That was amazing, dude, for sure. Like, I needed to start off with that for sure, right? And I will say, when I came in here, when you're using desktop, Twitter Spaces is pretty rugged. Like, everybody looks like they're talking, and I swear to God, I thought that was Joe speaking. I didn't realize it was Professor Jasper, bro. My apologies, bro. But then when I realized it, then I saw you. I went to your page. I started looking at the work, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. I remember when I wanted to get my work out there back in 2022 for the first time, and one of the things was like figuring out how, like, I had so many cool variables that I wanted to make traits, and obviously so people can filter through those different variable values and kind of see what went through it. And so I just kind of like customize a quick like script to as part of the script, a quick function to actually generate the JSON output to. And immediately when I saw this, I was like, I just have a feeling that might be a hurdle you're also faced with. So I wanted to extend myself to offer that to you. And of course, that's I've been saying this for a while on these spaces the past few weeks. Like, I truly believe we shouldn't gatekeep any of this stuff. If we have creators who are looking to like they're proficient in creating amazing art, and maybe they don't know exactly how to extend it out. And I'm not making that assumption for you, Professor Jasper, in the slightest bit. I'm using it as an arbitrary example since we were talking about what. But you might have an artist that will come from Web 2, come into the space. They make the most proficiently amazing art that you would just stare at for hours and just don't want to look away. But they don't know how to make traits out of it. You know, like when you think about secondary markets, us as degens, us as collectors, we've been kind of trained to like want to look into the marketplace and want to use these filters and figure out what's most rare ones and even just select one trait and then look at the variety of outputs from just one selected trait and be in awe by that. And obviously with P5JS, like this is like when you create scripts with P5JS and with these kind of outputs, it's essentially like controlled chaos, right? Like conformed chaos was named that intentionally, like my first project, because that's essentially what it is. You create a cool script, you get one really cool static output that you really vibe with, or animated depending on you know, loop or no loop. That's, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But essentially then you just kind of say, okay, well, what if I change the color palettes, or what if I change the direction, or the angles, or you know, the layers amount, and all these different variables you start to play with, and you realize the outputs vary and they're all beautiful, and they still look like they're, you know, seamlessly part of the same collection, part of the same script. And so you start to say, well, how do I speak that? Like, how do I explain that to the viewer, that like these are the small variables, the small changes, like that I've controlled the ranges. I said this is the minimum they're gonna have, or this is the selective options that you can pick from. But ultimately, you got to follow these rules, these constraints, in order to create the output. And that's, I think, through having traits be filterable in a marketplace where you can literally say, like, this color palette, like there's 20 color palettes. What if I filter and I select one color palette? Immediately you start to realize you see the whole body of work now in just one color palette. You see still with all the other variables changing, the one static color palette, you can see how beautiful they all seamlessly coexist, but all vary at the same time. And so, dude, naturally when I heard you speaking, at first I thought you was Sandman. I was like, oh shit, Sandman also does wood art. And then I realized, I'm like, wait, that's not Sandman. I heard certain parts of like your tone of voice, your accent. I'm like, that's not Sandman. And then I started looking at the post pin at the top. I was like, oh, okay, Professor's talking. Okay. And I looked at your page, and dude, I was in awe. Literally, like, I'm still staring at the same post, and ironically enough, it's the same one you said drop your wallet on. So, kudos to you, dude. This is gorgeous. I'm sure it's gonna be well received. I'm sure. Just keep attending these spaces. Be present, leading up to the mint. Keep talking about yourself, your work, and your passion. And I'm sure you're gonna find your audience. And the fact that it's such a small supply speaks volumes as well. Like, you're already thinking about supply and demand and scarcity, and when it comes to art like this, that's super important. So kudos to you, dude.
Thank you so much.
Hell yeah, man. Shout out to RNGs. I see you over there. I already know that's Tater, ain't it? That must be Tater.
I don't know what you're talking about. This may or may not be Tater. I cannot confirm nor deny this fact. But if you all want to recognize real versus real, Professor put orange first in his post. I'm just saying. Never forget how that came out. I do have a question for the Based Ape Gang guys. Is there an orange background in this ape drop? Because being a Based Ape Gang holder, that's right. I'm not just an awesome orange G's profile pic with a giant juicy orange and a sexy ass name. Orange G's Cabal. Yeah, it rolls off the tongue just like parts of your lady if you leave her alone too long. Oh. But no, I'm just curious because, I really love to build a community of like-minded folks who understand that orange is the alpha version of the color spectrum. That's why the sun is that color. But Mr. Rito, if you have an opportunity, could you just lay out some of the options on the trait features? Being a bag holder, I know that they are endless and based on your free time, but I do understand that you're taking a different approach with the gang. So please, could you fill me in just quick?
Yeah. So orange will be a option for background colors. What I'm doing is, so me personally, when I drop the collection, I like it to look really color curated. So everything is going to be in like black, blue, white, or gray. And I think we have 4 OG backgrounds. We have a blue, a black, a white, and a gray. And those, like if you have a blue, it's like the royal blue, it's like Apechain blue. If you get that background, you can't put that on an ape that has like a black background. Those are the things we do with like the backgrounds. But then you can choose from any of the other colors where it's like purple, red, uh, pink, white, yellow. I don't know. Anything like that you can change to from whatever color you have as your background.
So
So
I'm well versed in the functionality. So is this
yeah.
going to be like a closet option?
I mean, it's still going to be the same as it works right now on Base Tape Gang.
Yeah, but pretend like I'm not awesome and in bag from Mint, right?
Yes, it's like a closet option. So you basically you go to our wardrobe website and you sign the transaction that it asks to like view your wallet and see what NFTs you have in there or what base tapes you have. And then from there, it'll show a preview of your ape with like 5 different trait categories next to it. And when you click on one, it'll expand and it'll either say you don't have any options in the wardrobe right now, or it'll have a bunch of different options of like thumbnail photos that you can click from. And when you click on them, it'll show you the preview. It'll build your ape right there for you, generate it, and then it won't save it to the blockchain until you click save. So that's how it works. And like you can,
Awesome. Bro, I got to jump in because I think you overlooked a huge part. Is I've been in that closet quite a few times, and I don't remember any charge being associated with an update. Is that still going to be a thing?
no, it's free. You can change any time you want to for free. You
So,
just
like,
click
if you
save, and
happen
then
to
you go to
be,
the. So the one thing that I do know that's going to happen with Ape Gang is that on OpenSea, like you can't view ape NFTs on OpenSea right this second. They're Magic Eden only, and on OpenSea you can refresh metadata as many times as you want to. But on Magic Eden, I'm pretty sure there's a 4-hour time limit, like a slow mode for metadata refresh. So that's the one thing with Ape Gang is you're only going to be able to refresh like and actually see it change on chain like once every like 4 hours. But other than that, you'll still be able to change it whenever you please.
That's
And
a caching issue from Magic Eden. You can always look for the URL. You go to the
yeah.
contract, you enter your token URL, you can see your full URL, and then you can see it every time you update it.
Oh yeah, when you
Yeah.
when you
yeah.
blow it up into like the actual token form, normally they change right away, but when they're like viewed on the marketplace, it
Yeah.
doesn't show the update.
That's
So
caching for the marketplace. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like that, you can't control that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
no,
your
I know I
tool
can't.
still is pretty fire. You know what I mean?
So,
Give yourself.
I do know people love the rarity. Crypto Bull and me were looking at dragons today. We got some of those. There's some pretty sick ones all throughout the rarities. With your rarity structure in that, your changes of your clothing has no effect on the initial minted stats, correct? It's
No.
just
Yeah, so you
cosmetics on
buy
top of
like
the stats.
it's a cosmetic on top of the stats. So when we change the like when the D app changes your clothes. All it does is it swaps out the URL to your image. It doesn't change anything about your trait data. So if you have like one of the top 10 rarities and it's like I don't know, like a tattoo fur with a gold grin and it's got the rarest eyepiece and the rarest hat, you can change to any of the variations that come with those traits, but you can't put a different trait from the collection on your ape. That is locked. You can just change like what it's like aesthetically curated as. And so that's where like rarity is locked in with the one that you buy. And so you're gonna see like some of the ones that don't have a lot of traits will be rare, but ultimately that's up to like the buyer of whether they want a lot of clothing on their ape or they want like minimal kind of clothing on their ape and just like a rare fur or something like that, or rare like laser eyes and just like not very many traits. So that's kind of how rarity is going to work on this. And I really tell everybody like me personally, I judge like rarity by fur of an NFT or like the skin of your whatever the like base form of your NFT character is, whether it's a dog or cat or whatever. That's like the top floor trait dividing price point, and then it'll go to like accessories where it's hats or clothes or like the teeth or something like that, where they stand out with rarities. So I'm not too big on like buying top 100 rarity pieces or anything like that. I just buy what I like.
No, I loved what you said earlier that your trait stays the same, but your variety is what you're putting on, right? So
Yeah.
every trait will have a different variety. So, if you ever get a bag or if you ever get a gang and you're out there and you see another gang wearing something different, it's not that you don't have access to it. It's that your trait does not have that as one of its variety features. So, bro, I can't wait. I've been grinding out here on the ape chain, and I gotta say, I can't wait to have the bag family that we built back on base come to ape chain, and the new apes on ape chain grab a hold of the bag family and see what we built on base, and then we can make some bag base,
Yeah. I don't know what
chain babies.
percentage of like we have already on Ape Chain, but we're gonna be bringing 600 plus. We have 640 holders right now, so 600 plus new people to Ape Chain onboarded instantly on drop day when they get their airdrop, and then we'll onboard since it's two per wallet, and there's gonna be around like 1200s. That's like another 600. So there should be minimum like 1200 holders when it mints out, which is going to be a combination of like 600 holders from both chains possibly. So
Bro, and
that's
then
what
all those people run into the closet to make what they kind of look like their neighbors gang completely unique and original. I love that aspect. Like,
completely unique.
bro, the spotted gang all have the same fur. None of them fuckers look alike. It's just
No.
amazing.
No, but like we
No, I
have
thank you
like
for your
on
time, but like
no, you're
Grant,
good. I mean, even
Grimey's
on
the
like
man, right?
base state
And
gang, we have uh like the camo fur has seven different fur options. It's the only fur in the collection, and it's not rare. I just threw it in there kind of as an Easter egg. Like if you got camo fur, you can change up camo options. And I included stuff from my childhood, like Modern Warfare 2, Blue Tiger, Red Tiger, Fall camo, and then I put some like other random camos in there also. But there's like 8 different camo choices you can pick if you got camo fur, so they don't all look the same, you know. And so it doesn't change the rarity of camo. It just gives you a little more options to what you can create with. But
it's
yeah,
like
I mean
buying a
some
pair of Nikes and changing the color depending on your mood.
yeah, and I mean like if some of y'all think there's like 5 options, we have traits on Base Save Gang that have 37 options of clothing styles, or like not clothing style but design styles you can put on there. You can every color possible that you could think of, different designs, different like logos on them. Yeah, I spin it up, man. I really spin it up, and I really tackle like IRL events. If there's something IRL happening in the crypto sphere, I'm gonna make some type of merch so that you can hop on that bandwagon or train and tweet it and be like, oh, I got the Nike hat. We're collabing with Nike. Like, I can't do Nike logos, but that's an example.
Yeah, no, I get it. Hey, man, I'm in the same boat, right? With branding and putting shit on people, images on for people. You got to walk a fine line. But I look forward to the opportunity to hide an Easter egg orange or an orange cheese kind of nod somewhere. And I look forward to having the next few years to harass the hell out of you on 2 chains.
Yeah.
Because I think 1 chain wasn't enough. But yeah, man, like, great community. If you're from the Apechain side and you know me, I live and breathe bag, right? And Based Ape Gang is my homies. They brought me back from a sad place, you know. Um, the bull turned into the bear, and the bear scraped the shit out of Tater's back, and Tater was like, "I need to get my back fixed." And then I heard rumblings of base popping up, and we hit base because Ape wasn't ready, because they were building something fucking awesome, and they were tying it in with the Yuga, IP, and the other side. Like, there's so much behind us pushing us forward on Apechain that even if people FUD us and then they see it pop out in front of us, what we really had behind us, it should pull us forward. So I'm super bullish on the gang. I love the G's. I think you're gonna have a fucking soft landing here, because there's a lot of cool homies that appreciate good work. You've heard it in the space. Everybody's giving flowers. Art is going to be epic on Apechain. If you didn't notice, I think it's going to do better. Art, like real artist art, is going to do better on Apechain than anywhere that isn't a platform on ETH. Okay,
I think that's
and they're
facts.
not going to take the fees from the creators. So I think that's a boon, and I look forward to the 200-piece drops and the 500-piece drops, and then the 100-piece IRL merch that comes with an NFT, so that you can put your $1 million portrait in a safe but still show off your NFT print, because this is where we're going. And I thank you for bringing your project to Apechain. I thank you for giving me the opportunity with Based Ape Gang to mint that project and build a business with my excess Based Ape Gang. I don't consider it as selling my Based Ape Gang. I consider it as increasing the holder count. So I look forward to everything we have. The mint is the 27th,
Yeah. Yeah.
and let's fucking go.
Can I just explain to the people what you were able to do? Tater minted, I don't know how many minted, probably 10 for
7.
free, 7 for free. Oh, there she is. Tater minted 7 of my apes for free on base, and he sold them as we were in the incline up to like a .1 floor, and he bought a laser engraver, and he has been practicing his laser etching and engraving skills and making custom stuff. He made a custom whiskey kit with like metal ice cubes, and he engraved our logo and our apes on everything. And yeah, he's making crazy like custom NFT merch for people from any project. You can get it done from Tater, and it's really, really, really done well and done. Craftsman Tweed can even speak on it. Tweed's the one that ordered that set, but
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
shout out to
I
you,
gotta
Tater.
say, sir,
No,
I wish I had them all, though.
but
I
you're
wish I
doing
could have done
like
both.
you're doing stuff that like that's what we did in 2021. Like we took what we had and we expanded on it. We built businesses with our IP, and you're doing it, bro. You're literally doing what Bored Apes were created to do, and I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you.
Bro, well, like, there's a time where I'm going to take these orange G's with me, and there's a lot of awesome people in that group, and now we're tied to your group as well. And Tater makes stuff for anybody who appreciates custom made shit. That's what else can I say about that? You know, It might not be easy. Captain Tweeds was probably the most difficult thing that I've ever accomplished in my life, and therefore it justified the effort. But when he got that, it's a custom wooden box with 2 laser engraved glasses with his Bay State Ape Gang on them. He's got 12 whiskey stones and a laser engraved slate coaster set, a laser engraved fucking decanter. He's got a clock. I hooked that buddy up with a fucking Ridge style Bay State Gang wallet. So we do it right. And we do it right because I enjoy letting people show their passions to the real world without pulling their phone out and putting it in somebody's face. You'll have more conversations organically with a piece of merch than you ever will with your portfolio or your wallet balance on your phone.
Back.
Now, put your wallet balance on your shirt, we might have a different story.
Yo, I gotta cut it here because we're wrapping up the space close to 11. I pinned up some art that Captain Tweed sent me, some of your work, it looks like. So that's cool if anybody wants to check it out. I've got an orange G's, so I'm in the orange G's cabal. Brain Pasta, I wanted to give you the chance to speak because you were up here and waiting for a while. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Yo, what's up, family? Fucking
Brain.
Reed, fucking Pork You fam, Cardboard Cox fam. What's up? What's up? I just came to talk to the homies, ask everybody how they're doing on Apechain, see what's going on. Anybody making anything new? I heard Professor talking about his stuff. I'm working on new art. I may ask some communities for some wallets. I don't know.
Where do we give you the wallets? I heard some alpha just then. It sounded real quiet and trail off like, but I'm pretty sure it was alpha.
I'm blowing your DMs up, Brain.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a DM with a wallet idea in it.
Cool.
You been good, Brain? Good to hear from you, bro.
Yeah, I've been good. Just like, organizing a bunch of shit. Going to Basel. Is anybody gonna? Are there any ape parties happening in Basel? Or
I'm gonna be here for Basel. I live on Miami Beach, so I'm waiting for everybody to come visit. I want to see. There's supposed to be a bunch of NFT events this year.
yeah, the NFT events are gonna be fun. Make sure I'll hit you up. We could chill, have a good time. Maybe, yeah. Let's see if I'll hit up Ryder and see what he's doing for Basel. It'd be dope if he did something for G's, and maybe we can get some smaller communities in there as well.
I just put some random canvas work from your profile that I was browsing up there. We got a couple minutes left. I wanted to let Danielle speak if you want to about your project, or pin up a link if you have one.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm gonna post that thing up on top for the mint out giveaway. That's something I could find on such short notice. But yeah, I closed up my space to make sure I showed you some love over here, Grimy. We're getting super close. I'm at 2,000. Was it 2,226 mints? We didn't make it for the mint out for that G's on Ape, so I am now the owner and part of the Orange G's Cabal. So I am keeping that under lock and key in my wallet at this point. It's only one ape for an Archie ape. My collection is a 3,330 piece collection. And go get yourself one. And up on top is a giveaway once we mint out. And yeah, happy to be over here and part of you guys and what you guys are doing over here.
I'm buying one of these PlayStation things after you send me the link. Also, I didn't know they existed, and they do. They're totally fucking real. There's PlayStation Switches right now. So
yeah, it's fucking dope for real.
Congrats on your project. You're really hustling, and you got like a ton of mints. I'm sure you're gonna mint out.
I'll probably grab some more today.
Thanks. Yeah, and we'll see what happens. I'm seeing how close it's going to be. You know, maybe some of my new Orange Ape friends are going to buy some as well to support
Oh
me.
yeah, no, ma'am, I'm gonna give you the authority to post about your project in the Orange G's Cabal chat daily until you mint out.
Can you send me the link to that? Are those the things
I
that
need that
kind of look
permission
like
too.
the ape gorillas?
Sorry.
The
For the
3D
Archie Apes?
the 3D pieces that I've seen today.
No, she's got Archie Apes. Or
Archie. Okay. I thought you said
I
RT.
could send you
Yes.
Ape Rilla's link if you want, but that's something totally different.
No. I was
Yeah,
just.
I have some of those too, but that's no. I'm the founder of the Archie Apes project. I've been out here grinding for 12 days now, so for my project.
Oh,
Give her
these are
some
cool.
support. One last link I want to pin up top because we're 3 minutes from now, or I'm sorry, it actually starts at 11:30. But I'm gonna throw up Chris Slack's link for Apechain DGen hours. That's like the nightly space. So give that a retweet, RSVP for it. That's who we're kind of passing off the torch to. We wrap up usually around 10:30. So I'm gonna wrap up in the next couple of minutes here. Honeybee, if you're available, do you feel like playing cello on the way out?
Absolutely.
All right, sweet. So we're gonna have one more cello piece. Take a look at the last couple pinned posts, and uh, make sure to set a reminder or retweet Chris's space, which is the very last one up there. And you guys can feel free to put whatever project links you want in the jumbotron while we're fading out, and I'm gonna throw some up for my project too. But all right, thank you guys for coming out. Really appreciate it. Uh, and check out Chris Slack's space later tonight.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, incredible. All right, thanks, honey, and everybody else. I'll see you guys later tonight at Chris. Later tonight at Chris's DGen hours space. Uh,
Hey, thanks, Grimy, bro. Thanks for hosting us. Thanks for having us, bro.
Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm having a great time. I'm learning a lot. So,
Likely. Thank you.
Thank you,
Grimy.
Grimy. Great space.
peace,
Thank
everyone.
you,
And
Grimy. Give everybody a follow. Follow me back.
yo, yeah, follow everyone. Whoever's slapping their arm, slapping their shit. Good luck. All right. Good night, guys.